Cool. Ready to go?
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay, cool. Well, hey guys, this is another episode of the podcast we have yet to name. I'm Saranga. I'm sitting here with Cash Cooper, who is an artist who has shown both nationally and internationally. And yeah, we'll jump right into it. So Cash, you're from New York originally, right?
Mm-hmm. So I'm from Manhattan originally, 104th between Broadway and Amsterdam.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So what brought you out here to LA then, as opposed to like Miami or somewhere else that is also a very, creative-driven city?
Mm-hmm. My mom and stepdad, they started a restaurant out here in like the mid-90s, the Shark Bar, and I think she drugged me out here for like a long weekend or something, or a week or whatever. Maybe it's like some summer break time, just while she was getting the business set up. And it made an impression on me then, even, because it was hot. It felt like a desert, but there was buildings in it. So then, like, LA was like kind of mythological in my mind. And then, I guess kind of coincidentally, because I didn't really give so much of a fuck about where I went to art school. I was just kind of like all right, like maybe Chicago, maybe California. San Francisco was also thinking out, but I was like kind of equal with all of them. But then I ended up going out to pick Cal Arts, which is the cartoon kids school. Like, I went there. Actually, I lied. I did give a fuck because the Dexter's Laboratory dude went to Cal Arts. So that was like a determining factor.
So, like, you were here in Cal Arts, and then... So following that, I know, right? You went to Asia.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I want to know, like, did the whole, like, fascination with, like, Asia and, like, manga, like, start... I'm guessing that started, like, before you go traveling there, or...
Yeah. That shit started in... 90... Like, early 90s. Like, whenever the first time I saw anime, or whenever the first time I picked up, like, a shitty, like, manga reprint in a comic book store or whatever, or maybe, like, the first time I saw my cousins playing, like, the Sega Genesis or the Super Nintendo. That was, like, when it... Because, like, all that shit was from Japan, so I think I was, like, incepted. With all the different mediums, too, like, between visual art, like, drawings or animation, and then even, like, a memory that I was flashing back to just the other day. I remember, like, I was stuck with the Sailor Moon theme stuck in my head. Like I was probably like 6. I was like, oh, this is a song for girls, but this shit knocks. It's just so catchy. So I still listen to J-pop now. That's like, so all the genres I think I got into when I was really young. The Asian fascination, that was always like really strong core.
I've read a little bit of like how you've talked about your work in terms of like creation myths and like Eastern philosophies and Eastern like artistic practices. Do you mind like talking about that a little bit?
Yeah.
Those influences?
Yeah, definitely. Mainly, like the simplest way to put it, I think, would be it's like an African philosophy or spirituality, but it's expressed through like a 20th century kind of comic book pen. Because my influences were pretty direct in terms of like how I drew this stuff. Heavy ink, like vibrant color, things where it's like, okay, just how can I draw somebody just looking awesome, not really thinking about the anatomy so much, beyond function. Let me just have it look vibrant. Like the craziest anime you've seen, or the craziest McDonald's commercial you've seen. I just want to hit like that, like kind of stimulation or whatever. But then the philosophy underneath it is just really like academic, where I was learning about like the earliest gods, the African gods, the Sumerian gods, which came from the African gods, which were adapted by it, like the birth of civilization type shit, what, basically like what the vibes were like 7,000 years ago. Like, just something about it. Like, I read all these history books about it, all these podcasts. I'm just obsessed by it. Even when I was little, go to the Museum of Natural History. Every week I went to the Museum of Natural History, and I was also blessed to have like history teachers that weren't trash. So I just had like that kind of historical underpinning that now over the past 8 years, I've kind of married my visual influences with the philosophical, and then you have the work you see in it now, basically.
So you've lived here, or Santa Clarita, you lived there, left, come back. Now you've been here for like almost 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think, what do you think is like the biggest misconception about this city? Like stereotype that you're like, oh, that's not like a real thing.
Throw some at me. Like, throw some stereotypes.
Just like people being like, let's see, where's some...
Because I know you have some, so I don't want to anticipate.
I guess
I'm curious.
like some were like, oh, like people from LA are very like vapid or like fake or like kind of like airy, like not really there, like in it for themselves kind of thing.
Fake, disingenuous. I would usually ascribe those to the people that are coming here from out of town, like movie industry people, tech industry people, foreigners, like those kind of like the worst kind of people that move into the city, and like those showbiz, you're like Hollywood, stereotypically fake personalities. Like because I used to live in Hollywood, so I'd meet the people that would go there and just to like get down or whatever for leisure time. Yeah, I'd be like that kind of weird energy. Like, not to speak for the people who move here, myself, and others. Shout out to Lauren and Roman, my good friends that are from Atlanta or whatever.
I think I know Lauren.
She's been to a couple of shows with her brother. Yeah.
No, she's awesome.
But the people who move here with the weird energy, usually, if we're being honest, Hollywood people who are trying to be seen, they'll have that energy. And I'll feel bad for locals because I feel like people are putting shit onto your city that really it's foreigners that are just bringing that energy. I think it's like kind of country energy I feel out here in the best kind of way, because I think there's more space here, so people from environments like that all over the world, they do like statistically talk slower, shit like that. You just have more space. It's aside from the highways, it's like quieter. People could just like get out, and then you're all stoned out here off of the good weed. Prior to legalization or whatever, medicinal. Yeah. You had the good weed out here forever, so everybody's just chilled out here, blissed out. And that's something that when I get to know locals, I would come to really appreciate. And also just getting the general temperature of the city.
Nice. If you could work with any 3 artists, who would they be?
Akiko Yano, Blue Ivy Carter, and I should put a dead person in there. Langston Hughes.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, Cash, thanks so much for your time. I think, we probably need to do a part 2 at some point. And if people want to find you, what's the best way to reach you? Your
Cash Cooper Art on Instagram.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, man, thanks for the time.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
absolutely.